Hello and welcome. Assalamu alaikum. You're watching Greenwich Live Sessions. This is your host Umar Khan, and I'm back with another session. And actually, I have two guests and my co-host with me today. क्योंकि आज है Friday और Friday होता है Literature Day या Linguistic Day. तो आज हमारा Literature Day है जिसमें we're going to talk about a very interesting book 1984 by George Orwell और 1949 की ये book रिलीज इनफैक्ट पब्लिश हुई थी फर्स्ट टाइम और उस वक्त जो इस बुक में जो कुछ बातें थी आज तक लोग उसको एक्सप्लोर कर रहे हैं और डिस्कस कर रहे हैं एंड दैट इज द बुक दैट वी गोइंग टू डिस्कस टुडे एंड विद मी आई हैव माय को-होस्ट सुंदस अनवार जो कि एक लिंग्विस्टिक्स स्टूडेंट हैं हमारी बड़ी अच्छी को-होस्ट हैं और टीचर भी हैं माशाल्लाह से और बड़े अच्छे से इन्होंने बहुत अच्छे प्रोग्राम्स होस्ट किए हैं सो वेलकम टू द शो सुंदस होप यू डूइंग वेल
Assalamu alaikum, Amar. I'm doing well. Thank you so much for the warm welcome. And yes, this is all because of your mentorship. Acha ja raha hai sab kuch. Uh, should I introduce our next host as well?
वालेकुम सलाम जल्दी क्या है और मतलब क्या टेंशन क्या है करते हैं आहिस्ता आहिस्ता हर चीज होगी सो यस नाउ वील मूव टुवर्ड्स आवर गेस्ट सो इफ यू कैन इंट्रोड्यूस आवर गेस्ट
Okay, let me start. First, we have Laiba Tariqayani. Laiba is doing her master's in English literature from Greenwich University. Her major is literature, and she's a pre-primary coordinator at a school. She works in the management of a school. So, hi, Laiba, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Alhamdulillah, I'm good as well. The next we have Sana Strar. Sana is also doing her master's from Greenwich University in English literature. She is also, a very good writer, and she wants to write about the social issues of Pakistan, and she also wants to become an educationist in the future. So, Sana, how are you?
I'm good. Sundars, how are you? It's really good to see you here.
Yeah, it's
Very
good to,
exciting for me to
finally
be
meet
here.
up. Uh-huh. It's
Yeah.
been long actually. University closed at around, I guess, in March, and we haven't all met after that. So this is a good little, virtual get together. So today's topic is 1984, as Omar said it, and it's a very excellent book by George Orwell. George Orwell is known for his political writings. He is known for how his sarcasm and his wit actually covers the very harsh and real issues when it comes to politics. जॉर्ज ऑरवेल की अगर खुद भी बात की जाए तो जब इन्होंने लिखना स्टार्ट किया एवरीबडी वाज नॉट रेडी फॉर दैट टाइप ऑफ एक्सपोजर व्हेन इट कम्स टू लिटरेचर पीपल वर वेरी अमेज्ड टू सी दैट हाउ इवन एन एनिमल फार्म अगर हम उनका एक बुक देखें उसमें ही एक्चुअली had a whole farm and in which he made the farm animals take control of the politics of that particular farm and you could see the representation of different politicians that he used for in different animals. So he's also always known for his wicked ways and always known for how well he wrote about politics. And today we're talking about 1984. It's an excellent book. अभी भी अगर I would say कोई पढ़े और अगर कोई इस book के बारे में अभी भी अगर इस book को लेके बैठे, they would find so many similarities, especially now in the social media concept that we have and how social media has gathered us all together. There's always, positive and negatives in one scenario. So we're going to talk about that. It's a very good book and very close to my heart as well. बहुत मजा आया था इस course को भी लेकर. So Umar, taking you on board with me, I want to say that because of this whole idea that usually people जब politics के बारे में लिखते हैं तो वो books बड़ी controversial हो जाती हैं या उन books के बारे में लोग इतना पढ़ना नहीं चाहते या बहुत से लोग बोलते हैं उनको ban कर देते हैं कि कुछ जगहों पे 1984 was actually even banned as well, but like they don't want to talk about it. Even if you talk about हम लोग North Korea की बात करते हैं, how their politics are so different, it's very harsh, and just like that, if you take North Korea's politics, it's the same, almost same thing that you would see in 1984. So, I'm giving a very big chunk away right now of the book, but then again, it's very true. I would take Sana's point of view because Sana had a very good understanding and about the totalitarian society in the book and how it is explained
Yeah.
in the society, in the book. So, Sana, give us away.
Actually, yeah. I can. Am I audible now? Is it fine?
Yes.
Okay. When I was never very much interested in politics, but this book really diverted me towards politics and international politics and world politics because it deep. I was amazed by how it was a remarkable work done by George Orwell, because how he was able to investigate 4 decades ahead of time, how he how he was able to make use of technology. He was not aware, but he had the vision that how it is going to be manipulated, the world is going to be manipulated, the common minds are going to be manipulated through this surveillance, through this technology. And that really amazed me, and I really loved the book, and it is one of my favorites.
Yes, I would definitely take that point. Okay, in the totalitarian society, basically, it is all about how a particular society has its rule over people, and they cannot actually go, or what should I say, have their own freedom of speech when it comes to talking or speaking. If I talk about this society, totalitarian society, मैं थोड़ा सा इस society के बारे में इसलिए बताना चाहूंगी because right now we all think that we have a freedom of speech. We believe that we can talk what we want to, we can post what we want to, but actually, to be very honest, on social media our thoughts are filtered so much because of the trending things that happen. Just right now अभी जैसे थोड़े दिन पहले, Umar, you would totally agree to this, कि Facebook पर एक avatars का एक पूरा scene वो हुआ था. They all started making the avatars. Everybody was like, this is my avatar, this is my avatar. Even though if you are not even interested in it, some people did try it out, some people did look at it. So this is like a whole thought, what should I say, installation, that how a person can actually instill with a thought. I would take Laiba's point of view as well on it. Okay, Laiba, how much do you agree that the society that was shown in 1984?
First of all, I would like to thank you and Umar for adding me up in this one, because usually when you guys used to have live session, I was always looking कि मुझे कब बुलाएंगे, because they were so amazing and interesting, और especially जो literature के reviews वाले होते हैं. So finally, I got this one, and I'm so happy about it, because, like Sana said again, I'm also going to say the same thing. We did this thing, this 1984 in our second semester, and this is actually one of my favorite books. Now, in this, like George Orwell is, this is a masterpiece of George Orwell. So, in this thing, he told us how our minds are being manipulated by the government, by the parties, different parties, social media, and different platforms, and we don't even know how, like, our minds are, just brainwashed. We are brainwashed. So the thing is that in this thing, um, like, uh, we know that George Orwell told us, like, how the society is going to be in the upcoming future. Like, whatever we are going, like when we were doing this novel 1984, my teacher told us that if you want to brainwash someone, just take out the language from that person. Just don't give him the power of the language. So this is what was like totally mind changing and brain changing game. That when once I saw that if we have our language is the only power. The power, like when we can speak, we have the power of speech, we have power of freedom, then we have the power of thought, freedom of thought. But actually, this is how George Orwell told us in this novel. So it is actually somehow. Am I audible to you?
Yes,
Yes,
you're
yes, audible to us. You are audible to us.
right.
I
So I'll
think
take
like
that point here, and like Sundar, if you have read the book, I won't like take lots of things out of it. इसकी मूवी भी बनी थी, तो जिन लोगों ने बुक नहीं पढ़ी, they can go through the movie, उससे इंटरेस्ट और डेवलप होगा. But then again, जो एक चीज that you guys are missing out here is you mentioned social media, you mentioned the
So I'm
surveillance.
sorry, I can hear you guys now. Before that, I was not able to hear anyone.
ये कराची के अंदर जब से बारिशें हुई हैं, इंटरनेट जो है ना, उनके राब्ते
Yes,
इस तरह थोड़े टूटे हुए. सो विल बेयर विद इट सिंस वी लाइव, इस तरह की चीजें होती हैं शो में, तो दैट्स नॉट एन इशू. Meanwhile, yes, we're talking about 1984. So the main thing that you guys haven't discussed yet, जो कि हम करेंगे, जो सबसे एक बड़ा important factor है, वो इस बुक के अंदर मेंशन किया उसने अबाउट द ट्रूथ. सो व्हाट इज द ट्रूथ? सही है. तो
The
ये
truth,
आज
the
की.
truth
जी,
is
तो ये आज.
yes.
जी,
I would like
आप
to also give a chip in about it that how it's beautifully the truth is distorted. They have this holes in this the memory holes actually. They used to write it down those whatever the memory was, and they used to burn it, and then that's how the truth is also distorted, manipulated, and the memory is removed. So basically, we can also have this idea that superficially we know that we have freedom, but in reality we do not have freedom even nowadays. Our every action, our every step, our every move is being monitored. We do not have a big brother in a like it's a fictional character, but we can have technology as a big brother nowadays, because
now
wherever
I'll
we
talk
go.
about reality here. I'll talk about reality here. Like, let's have a reality check. What George Orwell
I would
wrote about.
totally take Sana's point of view
Yes, so
for.
George Orwell wrote in this book in 1984. Things didn't go as he wrote about it exactly. लेकिन अगर हम आज देखें 2020 में, so many things are similar to what he wrote. Not exactly the way he wrote it, but अगर आज हम देखें, like you guys mentioned, Big Brother and all, every cell phones that we are using, it's
Yes,
actually
this
watching
is what I'm trying to say.
moment.
every
And how he was able to put this idea 70 years back, because it's been 70 years now, from 1949 to now 2020. It's been 70 years, and it is so beautifully written that I think every person should read it, so we can get an idea that how it was already anticipated, and this is
But
happening
like
right now.
said prior that, like Sundar said prior that even at that time there were many of the countries which were under the totalitarian government, like Germany was under Adolf Hitler, and even South Korea had the Kim dynasty, and so many other many countries which were facing the same situation as it is mentioned in 1984.
Even in the democratic states, we feel that we are free, but actually we are not free, because we are losing freedom. We are becoming slave to the technology, and this is what was like George Orwell highlighted at that time, that in future there will be a time, there will be a world when we will become slave to the technology, and also to the totalitarian world, because their big brother will be there. We feel that we are free, but actually we are not free even
true.
now.
Absolutely true. And this is the world that we live in. And especially if I talk about that, how you mentioned that history has been removed and people are made to believe what the people want us to believe. So it's not just social media, it's the entire media, the world that we live in. We're
Yes.
way away from reality. Even if I talk about our media, every single channel has a different perspective. Every single channel is selling their own propagandas. So that is the reality. Now,
And
here,
this,
what
Right.
I'd like to mention
there's a
is
very good quote in
awareness.
that:
Yeah. If I can
who
finish first, please.
controls.
If I
Oh,
can finish first, yeah, thank you. So the thing is कि हम आज रियलिटी से काफी दूर हैं, और जहां अवेयरनेस एज अगर आप बुक पढ़ें तो आपको थोड़ा अंदाजा होगा कि उसमें अवेयरनेस की बात होती है कि जहां जिसको थोड़ी सी अवेयरनेस होती है, they are caught and taken to the room 101 and all that stuff happens. So बहुत ही इंटरेस्टिंग चीज है, and you guys should read it, because what makes it more fascinating, as our guest mentioned, कि 1949 में ये सारी चीजें मेंशन हुई, वेयर व्हाट अ विजन जॉर्ज ऑरवेल हैड बैक देन, कि जब टेक्नोलॉजी इतनी नहीं थी, किसी को पता नहीं था कि इंटरनेट आएगा नहीं आएगा, और उस वक्त ही प्रिडिक्टेड सच थिंग्स, वाज सिंपली अमेजिंग. इनफैक्ट जो पहला मैक का एड था, दैट वाज बेस्ड ऑन 1984. इफ अगर आप लोगों ने मैकिंटॉश का पहला एप्पल का एड देखा हो, तो इट वाज बेस्ड ऑन दैट एज वेल. सो दैट मेक्स इट क्वाइट इंटरेस्टिंग.
Wow, Umar, you've done your research. I really like that. That how you knew about that. Even I don't know about that Mac. I'll definitely see it after this. And taking your point forward, Umar. Yes.
सुंदर उस्ताद उस्ताद होता है.
सही बात है, बिल्कुल बेशक, डेफिनेटली। और टेकिंग योर पॉइंट फॉरवर्ड कि जिस तरह से आप लोगों ने मोबाइल फोन्स की बात करी, आप लोगों ने टेक्नोलॉजिकल एस्पेक्ट की बात करी, इफ यू टॉक अबाउट 1984 इन पर्सपेक्टिव एंड हाउ जॉर्ज ऑरवेल एक्चुअली टुक 1984 technological aspect as well as everything was under surveillance, even when you were watching the TV was watching you. So it's something that is जिस तरह आज हम लोग बिग बॉस देखते हैं या हम लोग बिग ब्रदर देख रहे होते हैं, those reality shows where people actually don't have such freedom of walking or going anywhere. This was something that
एंड बिग बॉस
people
का
were
जो
living in.
बिग बॉस का जो आइडिया है वो भी 1984 से ही एक्सट्रैक्ट किया हुआ
Hmm.
है. बिग
True.
ब्रदर इज आफ्टर दैट बिग बॉस.
Yeah, Big Boss, Big Brother, same. I
और
think.
एक चीज और सुंदर, मैं एक चीज ऐड करूंगा यहाँ पे, इवन जब आप ग्रेनिच यूनिवर्सिटी में सब एग्जामिनेशन हॉल में बैठे हुए होते हैं, इवन देन यू हैव बीन सर्वेल्ड, मतलब हल्की सी मूवमेंट होती है एंड यू गाइस, मतलब इन्विजिलेटर पकड़े ना पकड़े, कैमरे की आंख आप लोगों को पकड़ लेती है,
वो
तो
क्यों घूमता है?
Exactly. Even in class, that camera, yeah, they're rotating camera. That's like the big brother is watching us all the time.
पता नहीं वो
एब्सोल्युटली.
कौन
That's
होता है।
been
हम लोग हमेशा
mentioned.
जब भी क्लास में होते थे ना, और जो क्लास में डेफिनेटली द कैमरा इज ऑलवेज मूविंग एज वेल, तो हम लोग हमेशा सोचते थे कि कौन होता है जो हमें देख रहा होता है, कौन है ना ये। हम लोग स्पेशली बोलते थे हेलो हाय।
Yeah,
But
We
that's
used
the
to do
world
this.
we live in. That's exactly the world we live in. And literally, अगर हम गौर से सोचें, हम एक चीज को एज अ ट्रेंड फॉलो करते हैं. फॉर एग्जाम्पल, जैसे अभी सुंदर ने एवटार मेंशन किया, सिमिलरली अभी कोई ट्रेंड हो जाए कि पोस्ट योर 20-year-old पिक, तो हम अपने हाथों से अपना डेटा सबको दे रहे हैं. Once everything is on
exactly.
internet, I'll just share a very interesting story, quick story. आज मैं एक नए कंप्यूटर पे बैठा ऑफिस में, एंड गलती से कहीं से मेरा जो है गूगल सिंक हो गया कंप्यूटर के साथ. वुड यू बिलीव, मेरे पिछले 20 साल का सारा डेटा, मेरी सारी चीजों के पासवर्ड, इंक्लूडिंग माय बैंकिंग, इंक्लूड माय लिंक्डइन, फेसबुक, ऑल सोशल मीडिया, एवरीथिंग वाज देयर राइट देयर ऑन द कंप्यूटर. सो आई वाज सरप्राइज्ड कि सिर्फ एक क्लिक से मेरा 20 साल का डेटा कंप्यूटर के पास पहुंच गया. ये डेटा का एक्सेस किस किस के पास होगा और मेरी नॉलेज में भी नहीं है. So that's the world
Just
we live
think
in.
about it, because
It
हम
can
लोग
be.
मोबाइल फोन ऊपर सा लॉक लगा के we think that oh my god our phones are like secured, but actually they are not. सारा डेटा तो वो हमारी गवर्नमेंट के पास भी है, एफबीआई के पास है, हर किसी के पास है.
No, once
It's
anything
just
is
the
on
parents
internet,
पास नहीं
once
होता.
So
anything is on
we are
internet,
slowly
it's public.
losing our freedom. Actually, we are slowly
Absolutely.
losing our
Exactly.
freedom. We think we are getting freedom, but we are actually losing freedom.
वो होता है ना, आपको पता नहीं चलता, यू आर एक्चुअली गेटिंग विक्टिमाइज्ड बाय कहते हैं ना, इफ यू डोंट नो द प्रोडक्ट यू आर द प्रोडक्ट, एंड इफ नोबडी सेलिंग यू द प्रोडक्ट सो यू आर द प्रोडक्ट, ऐसा कोई एक सेइंग है. सो आई टोटली एग्री टू दैट. अच्छा, सम पीपल आर एक्चुअली कमेंटिंग एज वेल. Soumya Kiani is saying that George Orwell gave us bitter insight into the world we are living right now. Actually, Umar, Soumya and Saman, we were all together in this what should I say,
That
जब ये हमारा सेमेस्टर हुआ था. Someone also says that our so-called privacy is not private at all. We are willingly adapting this and feel like have no other option. That's true, because देखो वो तो हमसे पूछ रहे होते हैं ना, वो हमें option देते हैं that do you accept, do you allow or not. We are the ones who say
And
yes,
but we
I
allow
allow.
usually.
right.
Allowed.
So taking 1984 in the mind, and उस book के बारे में जो सबसे best, I would definitely share that quote in which there was, this is a very famous quote of his, that war is peace, freedom is slavery, ignorance is strength. This was something that was postered everywhere in this book, na? And this is a very very important quote even up till today, that war is peace. We're not understanding how many countries are actually fighting for their freedom right now, how many countries are actually at war with different countries, and silently somehow the other countries are actually supporting it as well. So installation of that thought or that idea at that time, I would say George Orwell was a complete genius. He was absolutely, जो होता है ना, आपकी थर्ड आई होती है, and people say कि इन लोगों को बिठाते हैं conversations में to know what it is. So I would say बहुत मजे की book है, and people should actually read it now to know and to realize. And even on Netflix, this documentary, The Social Dilemma, is worth watching. Soumya Kiani की ये बात I'll take forward. When you're going to watch The Social Dilemma on Netflix, you will see the resemblance of 1984 in it. It would be crazy. It would blow your mind off. And now, taking point of this forward, I want to talk about how hatred and how language was manipulated. And I would take Laiba's point of view on it as well.
In this, like, I'm taking your point forward that you just said. Okay, how did George Orwell knew that this is gonna happen? So one thing, the amazing fact is that George Orwell used to work with BBC during World War, and he worked as a propagandist. So this is something, that how he was, maybe perhaps because of this, he knows the situation. He knew that this is going to happen, whatever the happenings were at that time. And now, coming towards hatred, like, I'm not going to disclose the novel 1984. In that, we just went through, like, how the government created hatred among the people towards the other countries, not towards themselves, because they had to become, the uh, good part in front of that. So what they did was they just manipulated their minds, and they were like, and the other thing that the government used as a tool was fear. They frightened them so much that everywhere it was written that big brother is watching you, and you are being watched. That was like a threatening, like, do not ever disobey your party, do not ever go against your party. So this is actually how they were threatening, and even up till now, if we see, like, in today's world, in even our country, this happens through the media. Like, we are put under pressure through the media. Sometimes even the party pressurizes us. So this is still going on.
That's so true. George Orwell ne us book mein bhi, there's this very important thing that when they ask about the future, they say just imagine a foot stomping on your face. So that was like that's what the future is gonna look like to you, because they did not want people to think about the future. So if I take Sana's point of view on this, Sana, how much do you agree that now when we look at 1984 and the future aspect of it, so what is the dilemma that you finally figured out?
Uh, Actually, in George Orwell, with this 1984, the language also, he made it a point that in order to control the mind, the language played a very
Mm,
important role. So it was mentioned there by they were having a news speak, an official language of Oceania, and then that was said that by the time of 2050 would come, they are going to have three-fourths of the words would be eliminated from the dictionary, because in order to restrict their mind, do not they do it would be totalitarian society. They are going to finish off the words. The free will, the free speech of freedom of speech and thoughts would be given up. So that's how that was said to be. To control the minds, you have to control the language. That is also a very important point in there, that how language also plays an important role to control and manipulate the minds of the people.
that's so true. Even they had their own book, their own ओशनिया में उन लोगों ने स्पेशली अपनी I'm so sorry अगर मैं book का थोड़ा give away कर रही हूँ, but then again basically जो whole idea है 1984 and talking about this book is because uh, it's going to be an eye opener for especially for the students who don't read and the students who just believe that reading is just fiction, or it's something that is always about fairy tales or love stories or all that. This is going to actually bring all those students who believe in a more practical reading side, and it's an excellent read. It actually covers a love story as well in it, but at the same time the love story actually expands into a more practical overview. जिस तरह अभी इससे पहले उमर हम लोगों ने आपको याद होगा मुकामी की वो करी थी बुक द नॉर्वेजियन वर्ड्स हमने डिस्कस करी थी, उसमें भी यही था बेसिकली कहने को तो मेन जो प्लॉट होता है दैट इज अ लव स्टोरी, बट देन अगेन it's not the love story only, it's actually invest into
लव स्टोरी के साथ साथ एक और चीज राइटर ने बड़ी जबरदस्त तरीके से दिखाई है, एंड दैट इज एक्सप्लोरिंग द फियर्स कि किस इंसान का ब्रेकिंग पॉइंट किस चीज पे आता है. आई कैन नॉट talk much, but एक इंसान जिन्होंने आपस में वाव किया कि हम किसी बात पे ब्रेक नहीं करेंगे, एंड देन उसका बिगेस्ट फियर उसके सामने आया, एंड यू नो ही वाजंट द सेम पर्सन. तो ये हम इस चीज को, इस बुक को सिर्फ रियलिस्टिक लाइफ से आज से अगर जोड़ें तो दैट्स हाउ थिंग्स गोज. कि मैं अगर आज एक कमिटमेंट करता हूँ कि मुझे जिंदगी में ये काम मैं कभी नहीं करूंगा, एंड देन वक्त हालात की वजह से मैं कोई मजबूर हो जाता हूँ, या यू नो कोई ना कोई, हर इंसान का ब्रेकिंग पॉइंट होता है. किसी का फैमिली, किसी का कुछ, किसी का कोई रिलेशन, किसी का कोई मटेरियल. सो एवरी सिंगल ह्यूमन बीइंग हैज अ ब्रेकिंग पॉइंट, एंड द राइटर रोट इट ब्यूटिफुली. कि जो आपका मेन कैरेक्टर था वो किस तरह से यू नो ही केम ऑन द वर्ज वेयर ही हैड टू ब्रेक.
That's so true. That's so true. Before I summarize the whole topic and I kind of accumulate it all together, I want to talk about the basic thing that how much we need to realize that reading is just not for the people who are, in this field. रीडिंग शुड बी, जिस तरह हमारा लिटरेचर रिव्यू करने का भी मकसद यही होता है, टू मेक द पीपल रियलाइज दैट रीडिंग एक्चुअली opens up your mind and makes you see different horizons. It makes you acceptant. It makes you more, what should I say, observational. It makes you believe that अच्छा सही है, these are different perspectives and I can actually look into these things. And reading is something that makes you lead the way. मैं हमेशा ये बोलती हूँ, जैसे ये बहुत बहुत मशहूर है, हम बच्चों को समझा रहे होते हैं बात, that today's reader is tomorrow's leader. एंड जैसे अब देखो 1984 लोगों ने पढ़ा, एंड हाउ दे एक्चुअली परसीव्ड, अभी भी बहुत से लोग हैं. And there's a whole book, Umar, there's a book that actually says that 10 things I'm going to tell you how to quit social media. Like how much people actually instill certain readings in them. Taking this point forward, I would ask Laiba that, Laiba, how much do you think that reading is not only just fictional, it should actually be, something that you explore, and more you explore, the more you realize about different, genres.
Actually, the thing is that like इसी बात को like you just said कि इस वाली मतलब reading से we get awareness, and especially ये जो novel है 1984, इसकी भी अगर बात करें तो those who have read this, उनको they are quite aware of whatever is happening because it is already mentioned in that 1984. And apart from this, as much as you read, your mind, starts opening and starts accepting and starts analyzing people and things around you. So it's not always about, कि आपको आप fairy tales and love stories. You cannot say कि fairy tales and love stories they are useless और मतलब उनका वो सिर्फ आप ड्रामा में भी देख सकते हैं, फिल्म में भी. बट द थिंग इज दैट कि उससे आपको इंसान की पर्सनालिटी, कैरेक्टर, काफी चीजें एनालाइज करने में आसानी हो जाती है. आफ्टर यू स्टार्ट रीडिंग, आप अपने इर्द गिर्द लोगों को देखते हैं, यू स्टार्ट कंपेयरिंग योर सेल्फ विद दैट, यू स्टार्ट कंपेयरिंग योर एनवायरमेंट विद दैट, एंड फाइनली आप चीजों को एक्सेप्ट करना शुरू हो जाते हैं एंड लाइक एक्सेप्ट द वे दे आर.
That's so true.
In fact, एक चीज इसमें और है कि when you start reading, your creative side and your imagination वो काफी enhance होती है, and at the same time reading से आपका exposure बहुत बढ़ता है, और as you said, your understanding gets to another level. And if I talk about these old sci-fi and fiction movies and books, they always fascinate me a lot. There's a big question like 1949 में George Orwell ने ये सब कैसे बोल दिया. Similarly I'll give a reference of Simpsons, कि Simpsons के जो डायरेक्टर हैं डेविड सिल्वरमैन, उनके ऊपर बड़े क्वेश्चंस आते हैं कि he is a time traveler, how did he predicted that Trump will become president, or the 9/11 or the coronavirus. Everything was mentioned in Simpsons way before. तो या तो ये दो चीजें, either it's all decided and we're all working by the script, और ये सारी चीजें वही चल रही हैं that we've been controlled. There's this conspiracy theory and there's lots of more. अब इसका सारी चीजें लिंक एक चीज पे आती है that you have to read, you have to research. But now while we read and research, everything that we research and search on the internet, only those things are there that people want us to read, what people want us to believe. I link this to the book again कि आज हम हिस्ट्री में जाते हैं, our history is fabricated. असलियत क्या थी, हकीकत क्या थी, you can always ask your grandparents or जो उनके पुराने लोग थे, उनसे पूछें, and then you'll see what's written in our books is totally perspectives and what people want us to believe. Many of part of our history has already been deleted. So it's not just in the book, it's in reality. Not just in England, London, but around the world. That's what's happening. कि जो आपको बिलीव कराना चाहते हैं वो करते हैं. तो इसके लिए आज हम सिंस ये प्रोग्राम कर रहे हैं, ये इतना इंटरेस्टिंग टॉपिक है कि अपनी अवेयरनेस बढ़ाएं. Never believe what you hear and you see, even if it's right there in front of you. You know, everything has different perspectives. तो अपने
But
जहन
we
को
are, we are always shown the brighter side of the picture. We have to explore ourselves. मतलब हमें darker side पे भी जाके देखना चाहिए what lies in there.
true, absolutely true. Yes,
I would
Sandesh.
take Sana's point of view as well on it because Sana has been a little silent. But Sana, how much do you agree to our reader's perspective? Okay, once you read, you start developing a different perspective and more observational skills.
Actually, obviously, reading, when you read different genres of the books and you come to know others' point of view, what you are thinking, and then you merge them and you see like what can be done with that point of view, how you can change your thinking, how can you change for the betterment, how can you change your different aspect. Maybe you were clinging on to the wrong things and then that could be discarded from your thinking. That brings it brings innovation in your thinking, and you start thinking in a different ways. And it is reading is the best thing a person can do if a person gets the time. And that's the problem with Pakistan, I would say that, because in Pakistan there's reading is not that much popular here. If we start reading, we come to know and we get really literate about, and there are not many writers here. That's what that should be done. That's why I think this is a good platform in Greenwich, that we are inculcating this habit and we are trying to spread this knowledge among the masses through this medium, that we should all read right from the beginning. And even if at any age you just grab a book and you just start reading.
That's so true. That's so true. I would definitely say, okay, the Umar's perspective was very clear when he came to, on the understanding of literature review, that the whole idea behind this is just not to sit and talk about, a certain book. People can get the summary of it. It's basically how we talk about books and how we make people understand that the importance of reading with it. That's why I hamisha ye question, I always want to ask this. Before Umar, we wind up, I want to ask each of the guests their favorite quote from 1984. May I?
Sure, sure.
Okay. So Sana, you tell me, what is your favorite quote from the book?
There are many, actually there are many, but the best one is the under the spreading chestnut tree, I sold you and you sold me.
Oh, that's
This
very nice.
is
I remember that. Yes. Laiba, you tell me.
My favorite quote from this book, there are many quotes that are, a masterpiece of George Orwell's writing. But the favorite one is that 2 plus 2 is equals to 5. And I think that it explains it all.
That's so true. That's so true. I would say, okay, it does explain a very big point that how the book made us realize that people were fabricated by their mind. Umar, you may ask how their experience was if you want to, or should I?
You carry on.
Uh, you tell me, Laiba, how was your experience with our live session, and how was this literature review for you?
You guys are doing amazing, but this was because my first time and Sana's first time, so we guys were quite confused. But you guys are great support. You are always at the back supporting us and the rest of the, whoever you take live with yourself. So this is something really positive about you guys, that you are giving everyone a chance for this platform. And I was especially honored to be on this session.
Oh, that's so sweet. Thank you so much. I would take, Sana's point of view as well. Sana, how was your experience with the live sessions?
I was very much excited about it when I was told that I have to do this, and I'm really thankful to Umar. And I'm sorry for chipping in. That was my first time. I just want to say so much, and I just chipped in, and I'm really sorry about that.
It's
But
all
it was
good.
excellent. So, just thank you so much for inviting me, and it was fantastic. I really loved it.
Well, it
Yeah.
was Fantastic. And in fact, this topic is very interesting because this book is very interesting. And before ending this, I'd like to tell everyone कि जिसने ये किताब नहीं पढ़ी है, go and read it. If you are not into reading, then watch the movie because this is like a eye opener. This is like a mind opener. Because the world that we're living in is actually, we think we're in control, but we're not. Everything and everything about us is not controlled by us. Like literally, अगर हमें लगता है कि we are using cell phones, no, cell phones are using us. It
Yeah,
always
that's
orders
true.
us, कि charge me, give me Wi-Fi, do this, do that. The first thing that you do when you wake up is you search for your phone on the bed, even when your eyes can't open properly. And अगर एक सेकंड के लिए आप अपनी जेब पे हाथ मारे और देखें आपका फोन मिसिंग है तो दिल बंद हो जाता है. लाइक क्या हमने अपनी जिंदगी में इस टेक्नोलॉजी और इन चीजों को इतनी इंपॉर्टेंस दे दी है कि हम जिंदगी की जो ट्रू एसेंस है उससे दूर चलेंगे. इस पैंडेमिक ने हमें बताया है कि लेट्स जस्ट कम क्लोजर टू लाइफ. Everything is useless if we don't have relations in our life, if we don't have sympathy, empathy, emotions, feelings, respect, and trust for each other. So इन चीजों को समझें, लाइफ की रियलिस्टिक साइड को देखने की कोशिश करें. बिकॉज द वर्ल्ड दैट वी लिव इन, मैं तो उसको हैशटैग सोसाइटी कहता हूँ, जहां आप आज एक ट्रेंड बनाए कि जंप ऑफ द क्लिफ चैलेंज एंड एवरीबडी विल स्टार्ट जंपिंग. लाइक दिस इज द वर्ल्ड वी लिव इन. सो इन चीजों को पॉजिटिवली यूज करें, ना कि जस्ट फॉलो ट्रेंड्स एंड यू डोंट नो where you're going and why you're going. So awareness should be there. Get control of your life, or don't let anyone else control you. Let it be that social media, or let it be Mark Zuckerberg, who's watching us right now as well.
So that's off for the show, and thank you so much, everyone, for joining. I really appreciate Laiba and Sana. You just guys, they were just a call away. मैंने तुम लोग को एक बार बोला and you guys quickly agreed. I really really appreciate that. That how people come forward and they help us in making this a little good and more effortful. Thank you so much, Greenwich University, for giving us this opportunity that we all sit together, we talk about what we're learning and how much we have learned in terms of our readings. I would appreciate if you guys, tell us about different topics, what books you want us to review as well. We'll be more than happy to, review them. Invigilate. Okay, so Umar, before I end, Soumya has said that interesting thing is that Umar was our invigilator during the exam of 1984. This is true.
I
And
was
this is
the big brother. I was the big brother that day.
और उस yes और वो वही एग्जाम था उमर. डू यू रिमेम्बर मुझे तुम बोल रहे थे कि इतना ये लोग कितना लिखेंगे, क्या करेंगे. That
हर
was
हर
that.
हर लिटरेचर के पेपर में 24 25 30 शीट्स तो आप लोग यूज करते हैं. सही से वसूली होती है उस दिन. जितनी ना वो सारी फीस उसी लिटरेचर के पेपर में वसूल होती है.
Oh my God. Uh, thank you so much for your time, everyone. I really, really appreciate it. And yes, inshallah, we'll have more reviews. And if you guys have any suggestions, if you want us to talk about something else related to literature, you want us to interview somebody with from literature perspective, you can always chip it in. Thank you so much for your time. The official WhatsApp, the email, and the registering website is over here. Please, do visit and let us know that if you have any queries. Thank you so much for your time and stay safe, everyone.